suffering for the mistakes they made, because when the end comes, all the hope is left is us. We are suffering for the mistakes they made, because when the end comes, all the hope is left is us. enhancement is strong enough to reach your conscious state of awareness. But this is not a dream. You are seeing what is actually occurring for the purpose of causality violation. This broadcast will be received by the perceptual centers as a dream. But this is not a dream.
I want to give a quick recap of what has gone on so far in the story, in case you missed last week's show. I'm reading Nightmares at the Lake. I read part 1 through 5 of the story last week. I've had a strange and creepy nightmare in this story. I was in the pizza pub, but I woke up. Or did I? Perhaps not. Because as I ended last week's reading, I was in the grassy area, trying to get away from a door that had no business being there, because it was hanging on thin air. I ended up falling through the open doorway and heard a swishing noise behind me, and I was looking around to see what the noise was. Is the nightmare over? Or is it just beginning? Or is it reality? A new nightmare reality? I began this with an Edgar Allan Poe quote. It was from his poem, A Dream Within a Dream. The quote was, "All that we see or seen is but a dream within a dream." Are nightmares nothing more than dreams? Or are they glimpses into other realities? Realities that are hidden from sight in our waking hours by a thin veil. A veil between our reality and a horrifying nightmare reality. I'm going to read The Veil by E.T. Brother. Myself, in other words. Life is but a dream, nothing but a dream. There is a veil between our waking moments and our dreams. Most people never glimpse or even imagine the things the veil keeps hidden, which is good because it allows them to keep their sanity. The veil between the worlds is thin, transparent at times. It allows us brief glimpses into that other world, the dream world, to see what lies beyond. Our minds continue to function because the glimpses are but brief, so the mind can reject what it sees. But the veil and other world is there. The veil keeps many things hidden from our sight, which is good for you and I. If the veil were ever ripped aside or removed completely, and we were able to see what lies beyond, then it would drive most of us insane, and then beyond, in the blink of an eye, to scream in terror until the end. The veil between the worlds should never be removed, for it would surely lead to madness and death. The boundaries between this world and that is thin, fragile, and can be crossed with ease when you cross the bridge of dreams. But it always leads to madness for those that cross beyond in their waking moments. Pray you never cross into that other world, that you never pass beyond the veil, and that it remains in place. For if you ever cross beyond the veil in your waking moments, what lies beyond will lead to your madness. Your mind will come unhinged, and you'll scream until you scream no more. The boundaries between the worlds is separated by a thin veil, a very thin veil, Pray it ever remains and is never opened, not in your waking moments, or all may be lost, because there's no turning back. If you should ever cross into the world that awaits beyond the veil. The end. Perhaps this story is a glimpse beyond the veil. Or maybe it's just a nightmare. One can't say for sure, but I think Edgar Allan Poe got it right when he ended the poem, A Dream Within a Dream, by asking the question, is all that we see or seen but a dream within a dream? This is Nightmares at the Lake, Parts 6 through 10, by E.T. Brother. Part 6, Thick Fog. I couldn't see a thing. There was a thick fog. It was thick enough to cut with a knife, as the saying goes. I heard the loud swishing noise again, but could see nothing through that fog. I jumped to my feet, turned my head, meaning to walk through the open doorway. The door was gone. The thick fog was in front of me. I turned around in a full circle. The fog surrounded me. I could see nothing except for the fog. I heard the loud swishing noise again. It was louder, and I began to hear another noise as well, a creaking noise. I couldn't pinpoint what either noise was, and I couldn't see anything because of the fog. I looked around. There was nothing to see. As I stood there looking around, I began to hear another noise. It was too low for me to make out. The creaking noise was louder. It had been getting louder since I had first heard it. The swishing noise came again. I didn't like that noise. I couldn't exactly say why, but I didn't like it. I determined that the swishing noise was coming from in front of me, so I turned and began to walk away from it. The swishing noise, creaking noise, and the other noise continued. They got no louder, but they also got no quieter. No matter how far I walked, it seemed the noises stayed with me. They didn't seem to get any louder, but they also didn't get any quieter. I began to hear a new noise as I walked. It was also low, so I couldn't tell what it was. I walked on through the thick fog. I could see no more than a foot or two in front of me, and the noises seemed to remain with me. They got no louder, but they got no quieter either. Then I heard the new noise clearly, and it stopped me dead in my tracks and sent cold chills up and down my spine. Goosebumps broke out on my arms.